So you can spread out, come into a symmetrical, relaxed position, and either close your eyes or take a soft gaze up towards the ceiling and slow down your breath. Start from a place of ease. Is there anything to let go of here, now? And we can start with an intention to be present with what we're doing. And for many of us, our minds will wander. That happens. So just continually checking in. Notice, what are you paying attention to? And if it's something else, just as soon as you notice, invite yourself back. Feel where your body touches the floor. Feel the pose you're in right now. Feel your breath. And you're welcome to keep your eyes closed or open them as it's useful for you. Let's begin by sliding arms overhead, stretching out long through your arms and legs. Interlace your fingers, press out through your palms, flex your feet. And then bring your right knee to your chest. Grab hold of that knee and hug it in close. Let's straighten the right leg up towards the ceiling, holding somewhere behind your leg. Flex and point your foot a few times. Circle your ankle a couple times both directions. Bend your knee back in and then open your knee out to the right, straightening part way or all the way out to the side. And you can support your leg in a number of ways. One way is to have your elbow on the floor and your leg resting into your hand. You could also hold somewhere else, but try not to tip over. Keep that left leg grounded. Let's release, bend your knee, and bring it across for a spinal twist. Open out through your right arm, let your knee and shoulder reach away from one another. So each pose is stirring up a whole different world of sensation. What do you feel here? What are you noticing? Staying in your twist, try straightening your right leg on a low diagonal and your right arm on a high diagonal. And if you reach a little further through the fingers or through the toes, you might move the sensation around. Let's release, roll back onto your back. Bring both knees in and take a little circle or rock with your knees, massaging the lower back and sacrum into the floor. Grab hold of just the left knee and drop the right leg long. Squeeze this knee in close. Straighten this leg up towards the ceiling. Flex and point your foot a few times. Circle your ankle a couple times both directions. Bend your knee in. Open your knee out to the left. And then straighten part way or all the way out to the side, grounding down through the back of the right leg. And then release, bend your knee, bring it across, spinal twist. First with a bent knee, feeling. And then straighten the left leg on a low diagonal, left arm on a high diagonal. Roll back onto your back, bring both knees in, little circle or rock with your knees. Feel what's touching the floor. This can be a lovely massage for the lower back. And then drop your feet to the floor and we'll get set up for some core work. Begin to draw the belly in, pressing the lower back down from the inside. Interlace your fingers behind your head. And then exhale, lift the head and chest up. Inhale, release down. Exhale up. Inhale, down. Up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Let's take 2 more like this. Last one. And then release down. Take your right leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, head up towards your leg. Inhale, head down. Exhale up. Inhale, down. Up and down. Up and down. One more this side. And then release and switch. Left leg high. Exhale, head up. Inhale, head down. Up and down. Up and down. Up and down. 2 more. Last one. Release and switch. Right leg high. This time take your left arm across. And each time you exhale, reach a little further across. One more. Release and switch. Left leg high, right arm across. One more. And then release. Stretch long through your arms and legs. Bring your knees in. And then roll your way or make your way up to sitting. Let's come all the way forward onto hands and knees, tabletop. If you would like to pad your knees and you have something to put under them, feel free to use a blanket or cushion. Place the hands right under shoulders, knees right under hips, and we'll take a few rolls through the spine, starting by lifting the head and tail, arching. Exhale, round, draw the belly in. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curve. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curve. Now, inhale, arch. Exhale, shift your weight forward, bend your elbows straight back and dip part way or all the way to the floor. Now press up from there. Round, arch, go forward to dip down. Press up, round, arch, dip down. If going all the way down is too much, you don't have to. Just go a couple of inches. Press up from there. Round, arch. Let's take one more. Dip down. Press up, round, and then sink back to child's pose, releasing hips to the heels, forehead to the floor. And child's pose can be a great resting pose, someplace to come back to if you need to recenter, want to come to something a little more simple to slow down your breath and refocus your attention. With arms out in front of you, walk your hands over to the left and then pull back through your right hip. Stretching right side a little more. Come through center and over to the other side. Pull back through your left hip, stretching left side a bit more. And then back to center. Let's lift up through table and come back to downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. If you'd like, you can pedal out your feet here. Bend one knee as you press the opposite heel towards the floor. And then switch back and forth a few times, waking up the calves and hamstrings. As you settle onto 2 feet evenly, you're welcome to have the heels up or down, the knees bent or straight. So if you need to take some of the pressure off your hamstrings, feel free to bend your knees and lift your heels. Let's walk hands and feet towards one another and then hang in ragdoll. So we'll have the feet hip-width apart, parallel. Knees as bent as you need them, so you can let your upper body hang. If this feels too intense to just let your arms hang, try using a little support through your arms. You might rest elbows on thighs or hands on blocks. Finding a position where you're able to let the weight of your head really drop. Even the muscles of the face hanging down, letting go. Let's bend the knees a little more. Slowly roll up. Come all the way up to standing. We'll step up to the front of the mat, coming into mountain pose, Tadasana. Feet can be together or apart. We'll bring hands together at the heart. Next inhale, arms sweep high. Exhale, fold forward, swan dive down. Inhale, lengthen, part way up. Plant your hands shoulder width apart. Step your feet back, coming into a high push-up position. And just like we did on hands and knees, shift your weight forward to bend the elbows straight back, low push-up. Let's take a little back bend here. This could be as gentle or deep as you like, so maybe a little baby cobra, just barely lifting the upper back up. You could test the waters, come up a bit higher. How does this feel now? Wherever you are, trying to have the shoulders back and down so the neck is nice and long. And then back to down dog. Let's take 5 deep breaths. You could stay here in down dog, or feel free to come back to child's pose, or come to sitting, or drop your knees or forearms. Come into some neutral shape, slowing down. One more breath here. Let's come back through down dog. Bend your knees, look forward, step or lightly hop your feet back towards the front of the mat, inhaling flat back. Exhale, fold, let your head release fully. Inhale, up to standing. Exhale, arms press down. Let's bend the knees and come into chair, Utkatasana. So hips are going to sink back and down as if you're sitting into a chair. Try and have the legs parallel with one another. So either they're all the way together or equally apart. If anything is going out or in from the middle, either bring it all out or it all in. With the arms up, shoulders are down. One more deep breath here. Release, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Step or hop your feet back, coming through high push-up. Lower down, chaturanga. Feel free to drop your knees as you lower. Come into your back bend, cobra or up dog, and then back to down dog. From down dog, let's bring the right knee forward and come into a pigeon pose, right side. You can scoot back through the left leg, help the hips get as low as they'll go. And just notice, do you need some support here? If you're falling to the right, you might slide a little support under your right hip, a block or blanket or cushion. As you fold forward, do you want to have any support under your chest or forehead? You might rest your forehead on a block or chest on a block or forehead on your hands. Releasing towards the floor. One more deep breath here. Let's bring the upper body back up. Take your time. If you have something under your right hip, move it out of your way so that you can lean over onto the right. Bring that back leg forward and then shift over onto the left hip and send the right leg back. And if that didn't get you into your pigeon pose on the left side, find your way there. You might want to adjust the angle of the front leg. You may want to set up some support. Feel free to put a little something under the left hip. When you're ready, fold and then begin the process of letting go into this shape. So we want to very carefully find our own edge in each of these poses. And then when you are at your edge, how much can you feel what you're doing? How much can you relax into what you're doing? If you can't relax in a pose, it may be that you've gone beyond your limits for right now, in which case, do something different. Here you could bring your upper body further up or put a block under your hip, and sometimes after quite a bit of exploration you realize there's no way, shape, or form of this pose being useful for me, in which case, don't do it. These poses are tools. Not all tools are useful for everybody. Let's release slowly. Bring your upper body back up. If you have something under your left hip, move it out of your way. So you can lean to the left. This time, bring your right foot all the way to the outside of the left knee. So we get set up for a seated spinal twist. And you can do this with the bottom leg straight or bent. So if it works better for you, you might try straightening your left leg. Right foot to the outside of the left knee. We'll bring the right hand to the floor behind us. Left arm will either hug the knee or hook to the outside of the knee. Each time you inhale, sit a little bit taller. Each time you exhale, try rotating more, looking back over your right shoulder. Keep both sit bones grounded, especially that right one. Can you feel it dropping down? One more breath here. Let's release, unwind, and switch. Bottom leg can be straight or bent, whatever you did on the first side. Left hand to the floor behind you, right arm hugs or hooks. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist. And breath by breath. A little bit more height. Little deeper twist. One more. Release, unwind, and let your knees flop one way and the other. A windshield wiper side to side. As you're leaning on one hip, you can kind of rub that hip into the floor, massaging the muscle between the floor and the bones of your hip. And then let's come back to a seated position, legs extended. Now, if it feels like the bowl of your pelvis is tipping backward, you could sit up on something to help get your pelvis more upright. So feel free to put something under you if that's useful. We're going to fold over our legs, and folding is just a direction. There may not be any folding. So lengthen your spine and then go in the direction of folding. You may meet your edge right away and still be quite upright. That's okay. Some of you might reach for your feet. If you're not able to reach the feet, you could put something like a strap around them or go back to using hands on the floor. So your hands are useful in lengthening as you fold. Find your edge wherever it is. Wherever you are, can you relax your face? Can your shoulders be dropped? Can your breath be steady? Inhale to look up. Exhale, release. Let's bring soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. We're going to either grab the toes or the ankles with that grip, lengthen, lift the chest, fold whatever amount you're able. Doesn't have to be more than you can do. If your elbows meet your legs, you could push into them to help them open, or if it works better for you, you could always use your hands on the floor or elbows on a block. Going towards a flat back, towards folding. Let's bring the upper body back up, bring the knees in and roll back onto your back. Take a circle or rock with your knees and then drop your feet to the floor, getting set up for bridge. So we'll have the feet hip width apart, parallel, right under your knees. Push the feet down to lift the hips up. Once your hips are high enough, interlace your fingers behind your back. And shrug your shoulders underneath you, spreading the upper back and lower back away from one another. Lift your hips as high as they'll go. One more breath here. Take your arms out of your way, roll down, and rest. Let's bring the knees in and take hold of the insides of the feet for happy baby. We'll press the knees towards the floor. And you can do this in stillness or maybe a little rocking. You can keep the knees bent or straighten the legs one at a time or together. And then bring your knees back in or drop your feet back to the floor and just check in with your body. What's still needed to wrap up this practice for you? Is there any last pose or stretch or anything you want to do to feel complete? If so, take your time. Maybe there's some body part that could use some attention or a pose you'd like to get in. Take your time with whatever you're doing to wrap things up. And if nothing else is needed, you can just get comfortable Ready for your final resting pose, which might be putting on extra layers or adjusting your clothing or grabbing props. Eventually, settling into a symmetrical, relaxed position, settling into stillness, and letting go of the control of your breath. Just a couple moments of not doing anything. Slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Move your wrists and ankles. And then take a big stretch out through your arms and legs. When you're ready, bring your knees in. Roll to one side. And use your hands to help you up to sitting. We'll bring hands together at the heart. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hope you have a good rest of your day.